مساحة حلين داف بيت هت Amud Aleph. We are by the sixth wide line. Amara B Zeira Vitmera Babarimia. Rizra said, or maybe Miriam said, you can use the dirt from a Erahani Dahat. Ma'asma Avani Dahat, you can use that dirt to cover the blood for the animal. Now, thing is, Erahani Dahat, a city that was convicted of doing Avodah Zarah in primary in majority, and then it had to be burnt and destroyed. Now, usually that means asur b'hana'at. That's the Gemara's question. V'amai, I can use that dirt. Is it hana'ahu? The Gemara says, Amar za'iri. No, that's not a problem. Benefit. Lo nisrach al afar. Afar is referring to the dirt underneath the ground. And that's mutar. The hard dirt underneath the ground is okay. Tziv, et kol shelo tibod l'torah. Chavava serafta. Shall burn all the stuff in the main gate, in the main square. Misha inu mehusa, like if he says, it only requires things that are movable. It says, mehusat lisha kivisa usrefa. Dirt, hard dirt would need to be detached, gathered, and then burnt. Therefore, it's not burnable. Therefore, you could use it. But if Allah says mitzvot lav le'not le'no, it's not a problem. Mitzvot are not meant for us to benefit from, and therefore you could use something that's urbana. Rashi says, "Ma tzibur divina gamma le'alash mata." He repeated this. Etzvei avachumil le'revina. He asked him a question. Shofar shofar havim le'yud kabo. Person should not be able to blow shofar that was belonged to a goy. It was used for avodah zarah. My love im tekalo. It sounds like if he did use it, it's not yotzer. So we see that it's a sort use it even though it's not for benefit. The Gemara says, la, it's not true. You blow it, you still use it, but it's just better not to. It's nice, not nice. Lulav shel alavim, same question regarding lulav of goy, about the zra. Leila goy sounds like you should not use it. Lulav him natal sounds like if you did use it, it doesn't count. Question against Rava. Seemingly that does not make a difference if it's a mitzvah. Where it says, not true. Ibn Tayyiyyah said, either said, but also you should not use it because it's nice. But however, it says the but Braita says clearly, if you did use the shofar or the lulav of the zarav, you're not yotzeh. Where it had Amar Rashi, you can compare. Atam by the case of shofar and lulav, she'ura be'einan. We need an object used to have a minimum measure. V'aru chavim kituveh chatet she'ura. Something that's used for avodah zarah is considered already destroyed because it has to be destroyed. Hachan, he's of dirt. Anything that's destroyed slash pulverized like dirt, you could use it, no problem. That's why dirt's different and it's allowed. Hadranach, kisui hadam, hadranach, kisui hadam, hadranach, kisui hadam. Yid hanasher. The Yid hanasher was made asur because the Malach of Esav hit Yaakov's thigh. He limped away. He got healed. And that's the message of Bnei Israel. Even when we're hurt, even when we fall, we get up and we stand. Even if we're limping, we move forward. Gidan Hashem no heg be'aretz u'b'chutz la'aretz. The Gidan Hashem, you know how to eat it in Eretz Yisrael or outside Eretz Yisrael. B'fei b'gad lo shemai, before Beit HaMikdash or after Beit HaMikdash. Be'chulin u'b'mukdashin. Chulin, non-kadosh animals and kadosh animals. B'noheg b'ma'ah chaya, applies to b'ma'ah and chaya. Why did I make domesticated now? V'yarech she'amim v'yarech small, right or left thigh. They don't know heg ba'af but not applied to the bird. Mipnei she'en lo kaf, because there's no spoon-shaped flesh by the thigh, which is what the pasuk refers to in the by the Gideon Hashem. V'noheg b'shlilin applies to the fetus. Mizamer, internet which doesn't apply to the fetus. V'chabam mutar, not only that, but the halib is mutar of a fetus. But butchers are not trusted regarding the removal of the Gideon Hashem. The mayor, according to the mayor, he holds it's very hard, and therefore you have to suspect he didn't do it correctly. The Hamim Zeno, Naaman allowed they trusted regarding removing the halib and the Gideon Hashem. Why didn't he make Gideon Hashem is required for a kochim? Mishum the Aktashe Pakal Isur Gideon Hashem. Just because he made a kadosh, does that mean the Gideon Hashem would make it a mutar? Mar says Ve'idechit. We want to say maybe that is true. Yesh Gideon Benatantam, because maybe our Mishnah holds that sinews have flavor and therefore you gain pleasure from it. Va'ati Isur Muktashin V'Hayal Isur Gid. Then the Isur of Hekdesh will come on top of the Gideon Hashem, and therefore it will place it. But then the Mishnah should have said the Kochim applied to Gideon Hashem, not Gideon Hashem applied to Hekdesh. It would have been different phrasing. The Gemara says, Ela Kasavar. No, rather we hold. And Begidin Tadam, there's no flavor. Ubmutashinu are referring to Kadosh animals. Isur Gid Ika, Isur Mutashin Lakat. There's only an Isur by the Gideon Hashem, but it's not Kochim. versus سفسفة دان انمي دين تعم ولا like عرف تاع hold is no flavor but then yeah actually بشر back din shay thought that was cooked with din shay im يشبع من time if it's not a flavor from the din shay has it answered the whole thing the source seemingly there is a flavor versus okay fine you know what Allah hacha biladot بالتشين سين to referring to a case where the children that came from the Cochimano because Savar no Hegbush our Mishnah holds like the opinion that it applies to the fetus because Savar and the thing is Vadot Kochim b'me'ai iman him toshin. He holds that the child of a Kodesh animal is kadosh from the womb. The Isur Moshin B'Hedakati. And therefore, what came first? They both came at the same time. Therefore, they both take effect. In this case, the Mishnah is saying they're both chayav. Mimatzit mukmat b'shlir, can you interpret the Mishnah in the first case referring to his fetus? But the second part of the Mishnah says the Naik b'shlir applies to the fetus. Since the first case is not a fetus. The Gemara says Achi Kamar. Davar ze machloket that Rabbi Yehuda Barbanan, as Mishnah is referring to specifically that this a case of the fetus is the machloket. Okay, again, you said it's the same opinion that they both that they're holding that the Gina and the Hagdash come at the same time. But the time Mishnah says, Al elu tumaot hanazir migaliyah. Following things that a nazir if it becomes tameh, he has to shave and start nizirut again. Al emet for touching a met, but al kizayt tamet or even a kizayt of a met, a volume of flesh. The question we had a question. Al kizayt met migaliyah. If he is for kizayt, al kulu kosh again. So for short, for the whole body, or if it's just the whole body, if you're saying the kizayt. The Gemara says, "V'amar Yachim Rahan said, la nitzvah el shenefel shelo nikshru everav b'gedin." It's referring to a case where there was a fetus that was aborted, right now, and the limbs were not connected yet. It was very, very early in stages. The limbs were formed, but it was too small, and therefore there's no it still transmits. Well, we see Isur Mutashin Bekadim. We see the fact that sinews develop after the limbs, that Kedusha comes before the Gdei Neshama at the same time. Gemara says, I'm Gav the Isur Mutashin Bekadim. It's true, even though it comes before. At the Isur Gid Hayal Alayam, the Gdei Neshama still takes effect on top of the Hekdesh. Shekin Isuron Wahib Noach, because the Isur is more stricter because it applied to the Bnei Noach. Now, it doesn't refer to actually Bnei Noach. Bnei Noach refers to anybody who's before Matan Torah. That is when we see this start from Yaakov, which is before Matan Torah. Man Shemet Lahasvara, where he has logic from. Rebida, he's going to Rebida, who, how do you know this idea? He goes Rebida. The Hamatit is not Rebida, but our Mishnah is not Rebida. Our Mishnah said, no, Hebim Maga B'Chaya, applies to Habib and Chaya, Biara Shamim Berech, small right and left. And Rebida says it does not apply to both eyes. Later on. Versus Han Tana Sabada Kavatida Hada, but the Hada is true. The Mishnah holds like Rebida on one thing and argues against another. When can you say he agrees to Yehuda is by non-kosher animal. The Isur lav, because that's only a lav. Koshim the Isur karet me'eki shmatle by koshim, where if you go against it, it's karet. Would you say that the Gideon Sheh applies even on something from before? No, it would not. Therefore, according to Yehuda, the Gideon Sheh cannot be on koshim that something's already kadosh. And then the Mishnah, therefore, cannot be referring to a child. So what's the case? Ella hachab machab. We can't ask in some case where bim vakeret askinan. It's referring to a non-kadosh animal giving birth to a bechor. Divrehim kadosh. That becomes kadosh from the womb as it comes out. No, the children of kochim are kadosh when they are birthed and not earlier, and therefore the Gideon also happens before and not earlier.